We are live.
Huzzah.
Man, it's
It's been a week
back.
and two.
It's been a month and a half.
Time has passed.
I feel
in order to we are the Mid-Geek crisis. I think we have a banner. Don't we have some way to tell people?
we have something. We have something. There's something. Let's start off with the Afroman cautious here.
There you
go.
And I'm cautious.
Let's we could kick this off with a banner here. Let's do some of that. Maybe a little banner. Maybe a little
amateurs here on episode 80.
Let's just put some of that up, and then we'll take some of that off. Look at that. Look at the name.
Now we look snazzy.
Yeah, we look snazzy.
On
And let's go ahead and let's kick us off with an intro.
Let's do it.
What up? What up, everybody? Well, we're back. Episode 80. 80 episodes. Multiple weeks. We've had some off weeks here and there.
Sure.
But definitely, here we go. We're so last week was a tough one. We decided to take a little break to give some space, especially in the, again, more hardships in the world, and a lot of.
We could say it, right? Black Lives Matter, and
Black Lives Matter
are out there in the streets doing what we should do to fix things.
Right. I mean, things have happened, right? So,
hey, Rolls, thanks for jumping on, friend of the show.
Even right after the show, in 2 weeks ago, we were gonna have a space launch, and that didn't happen. It was almost like things were not ready to happen, and then it got pushed for weather purposes on Saturday. And I watched.
Did you watch? Yeah, I watched. It was great.
I did.
My daughter loved it. She was super excited. We actually have a model of an old Mercury rocket that does the 3-stage thing. So I showed her all the steps that occurred as they were occurring with the rocket taking off, and we cheered when they got all the way up to the space. It was very exciting.
Yeah, that was the way the world has been going. I was almost expecting tragedy, and I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see it, but it didn't, and it was something nice. Something I was very happy for the engineers, very happy for the crew, very happy for everybody involved.
Yeah, it was a nice win, Rolls. That's exactly right. I think watching the second stage booster drop off and that beautiful shot of Earth. And that booster, like it was like perfectly cinematic watching that booster.
Wasn't it? Isn't it? Away. How telling is it that in this day and age, in the year 2020, the moment that happened, first thing I thought of was like, boom, flat earthers. Like,
take that. Hello, Alejandra.
Hello.
Yeah, flat earthers. I mean, probably they have an explanation for it. The way it is now, that you could be pushing somebody.
We were looking at the top of the dish, right?
Oh, yeah, we were looking at the top of the dish. Turtles all the way down. I don't know. Done in the studio somewhere. I honestly, I can't follow it anymore. Yeah, it's things I used to enjoy reading where I was like, look at these Chumbawambas talking nonsense. And now I'm like, oh my gosh.
Rolls, I am going to counter that. Not because I don't want to give any credit to Elon on this one, because while Elon by name, in his vision of wanting to go back to space, he is not the brains behind it. The multiple engineers on his payroll were able to do what he did. So I'm going to give credit to the engineers and the workers and NASA and JPL and all of the different engineers that worked on the project to kind of get this going. Elon can sit on the camera and say and take all the praise he wants, but I personally will not be the one giving it to him.
There you go. I also think Elon is like the perfect, like he's almost like the anime villain for the corporate person who's conquering Mars, right? Like he's the guy that you see piloting the evil Gundams. That's who Elon Musk is, I think, if you want to make the anime comparison. He's just the bad guy. He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
He's the one we should not be cheering for billionaires anymore. Just let's stop doing it. Let's all agree as a society they're not to be cheered. right? Because capitalism. It's
Yeah.
capitalism.
The moment you were talking about how the second stage rocket, like
Mhm.
the moment that happened was the biggest sigh of relief for me, because that's where like all that fuel was no longer there, and they were able to just kind of like the bigger tragedy, no big kaboom, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So let's. Did you watch? How old were you when the Challenger blew up?
I was 6.
Young, right? Yeah. So
I was in my first grade class. They had rolled in the TV.
that's exactly what I
And
remember.
boom, it happened. And then I remember them turning off the TV, and we were just like,
And suddenly we had a big like emotional talk about feelings with crying teachers. Like it was the weirdest.
yeah, 1986, right?
Yeah, it's the weirdest, most shocking thing. And then like we had it again. I think I'm in my head. First stage booster is the one where they blow up, right? Because usually you see them still in the atmosphere. But the second stage booster is like if you can get up that high, we're good to go.
So
I mean, I'm with you, rolls here and there. Someone would have done it, but let's not call somebody with money a hero, right? Let's just all agree that they didn't do anything heroic. But because Elon Musk is looking to profit from this, he's not doing this for the betterment of humankind. He's doing this to make money.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a good marketing person, or no? I mean, he probably used to. I think the marketing people have given him too long a rope recently. But I don't know. It's like Jeff Bezos. These billionaires are not to be celebrated just for having money, just for having the spirit of making money. It doesn't seem to me that they're giving much back. Right?
Yeah, I think
he'd invest in coal mines if that's where the money was instead of going to space, I think.
Right. So like we can counter it both ways, right? Yes, absolutely. He's a billionaire and he had the money. He had the brass ones to kind of go, I want to invest it into space.
Sure.
And when we really think about it in a money-making scheme, it is not the instant profitable thing. But counterpoint on that one is that it's the longer game, right? He knows that if he can control, he has a vehicle that can go up and down into space. He's charging multi-million dollars for how many satellites did we launch?
Sure, but
wasn't it 12 satellites that we launched when we went up there?
So was it 12? I don't know. All I know is that I think it's interesting that he went after a business that had a clientele that was guaranteed to pay him for it. Right. So often when you build a business, you're taking a risk. Elon Musk knew that the space and NASA needed that shuttle.
Right.
And he had, before they even started at SpaceX building the shuttle and doing the designs, they had already agreed with the contract with NASA that said, we're the ones who are going to be doing it from you going forward.
Yep. So
it's not like NASA can be like, you know what, we're going to go with Space B. No, SpaceX is the guaranteed, like they had guaranteed business, Joe. Like it was I don't want to say it was a no-risk venture, but it was a guaranteed venture, which is the best kind of business model. It's what the military industrial complex loves, right? We're guaranteed to make guns for the soldiers.
Also, we can say that it was for altruistic measures and whatnot, but we do have a president that just created a space force. And how is Space Force going to get to space without SpaceX?
This is true. It's a private public.
It's not like NASA has shuttles ready to go into space.
They're not going to be able to put Space Force on the side of their ships because I guess they lost their trademark battle.
Right. How hilarious is that?
What's up, Vagabond Dog? Welcome.
Netflix now has the rights and the trademark and the copyright, I guess, for.
I think they won the first round of the battle, right? I don't know if they won. I don't understand how trademarks work. I don't understand how you can copyright the word space and force. Like, can you think of two more generic words, right? Like, how do you own a trademark to Space Force? But someone, I guess, can get it. See, there it is. Good, the U.S. military. I can see the U.S. military owning like Army Strong, right? That's like a trademark sort of model for them. But like
because the word Army is already an acronym that's part of the government to begin with. So Army Strong, you're saying that
it's a motto. I get it, but can they copyright Army? Can they copyright Navy? Like,
I don't know.
I guess like I wonder like what can happen there. Space First. There you go. Back up on top.
Space First.
Have you watched Steve Carell's new show?
I haven't.
It hasn't grabbed me like I hoped it would. It's got its moments, but not as good. It's weird seeing John Malkovich like do TV. Like in my head, he's such a high-powered actor, but
isn't that's the new wave, right? We reinvented TV by reinventing cinema. Yeah. So like cinema is TV now. We've now got these budget movies chopped up into miniseries for 6 episodes.
I'm still an old man. I still don't understand it. It's still weird seeing a man of John Malkovich's bona fides on a TV. It's like maybe like watching Gary Oldman do a TV show or Johnny Depp do a TV show. You're like,
they're
wow.
on. Like, look at Damn Judi Dench. She's in a show soon, and Al Pacino's in one on Amazon or something, and they've got all these like big Academy Award actors on TV shows.
That's true. Yeah, I hadn't considered that. Also, we probably should talk to our producer about that one, right? The paperwork for the Mid-Geek Crisis. We probably should.
I may or may not have it partially LLC'd already, so
ours is with the hyphen no rolls. So if you want to go after the no hyphen, good fans. Yeah, Vagabond Dog John Malkovich is the best part because he came to chew that scenery, and that's what he's really good at. So you're
anything
totally right.
So hold on. So we're gonna roll this. We're gonna go organic, and we're gonna keep our producer Jordan on his toes this episode. Speaking of cringy, speaking of space, speaking of chewing the scenery, Command and Conquer remaster. Have you seen it? Command and Conquer, EA, Westward Studios.
So like the original Command and Conquer, they remastered it?
It's amazing. It's amazing. So they did a whole comparison video. It is they lost all the original footage. So they ate all the chew scenery, Tim Curry, space moments of these are amazing. They've been 4K.
Oh my
AI.
Lord.
It's amazing. Look, they did it so well. The reviews on it are amazing. They didn't skimp on it at all. They redrew all of the art, all of the.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Command and Conquer and Red Alert all together, all the expansions all together.
Man, I played the hell out of that. That is
remastered.
I like how it's remastered, but they can't like do a lot. It's but the smallest 100 campaign missions. Holy cow!
I think Digital Foundry did a whole breakdown, like a 20-minute video of like showing what they did. Is they showed the limitations of the old game where it was like 3 frames of animation, so they redid a lot of the animations, and they did a lot of quality of life things too, like selecting. You can
now drag and grab as opposed to clicking.
Right. You can do all sorts of things. Look at all these. It's great. It's the whole thing. So available now.
Can you still play it the way it was originally designed? Because
there's actually a button as well that you can flip back and forth. I just
want to make sure someone learned something from the Blizzard debacle, right? It's got to be a way to play it.
So there is a graphic switching right there. So real-time legacy. So you hit a button and it flips back and forth between the two graphics. It's amazing.
They made some new music, and Vagabond. Like I think, no matter what, you're right. There's going to be people that will complain.
I would have thought so too, but looking at these reviews and seeing someone like Digital Foundry, who's an amazing site, by the way. If you guys aren't familiar with Digital Foundry on YouTube, their entire premise of the channel is they go through and rip apart quality. They go frame by frame. They have $1,000, $100,000 machines that kind of run through frameworks, see dip frames, see where performance is and not on certain games.
That's amazing.
Comparisons. So they did a whole breakdown of this game, and they were kind of like showing you bits and pieces of like more animation, nodes, no drops. Here's the color compression. Here's this, here's that. And they went through it. It's amazing. They did nothing but praise it, which is really rare for something like EA /
anything.
Yeah, right.
You've already started with EA, and I'm already walking away.
Yeah. But it's
like the opposite of take my money, right? Like I don't know. Like
there's no in-app purchases. The complete game. Not only is the complete game
100 campaigns or less. That's amazing.
All of it is there, and it supports mods.
It's so I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm like, would I spend money on a game I played 20 years ago? Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just?
So I know you and friends of the show. If you're not familiar, Cautious tends to play a game and then he's done with it. Mm-hmm. He literally like drives down the street and then rolls down his window and throws it out the window. That's what he does with games. He's done with them. He's like,
they are disposable media for me. I don't have the nostalgic attachment to. I'm like, I have consumed you and you're gone. Right?
But I think there are some games that have gotten so far away from your nostalgia point that they are nostalgic. I think when was the last time, other than Civ 6, what's the last time you've played an RTS like this? I mean, we talked about Dune 2000. last time we had our Dune talk and how much
You know, I was sad. I watched a video of some old Dune 2000 game. Just 'cause I was like, man, I remember this game so hardcore. Look at this game. I don't know. I can't even remember. I think StarCraft 2, maybe when they did some sort of new patch for it or something like that. I went back and tried it out off of BattleNet, but I haven't played I mean, Civilization 6 is the only game I play on my computer. Before that, it was Civ 5. I haven't. I just you gave me that Rise of Industry game, and I started to try and learn it. And I'm like, this game is.
But the moment I saw it,
for geniuses.
The moment I saw it, I thought of you. I was like, oh, I'm going to do nothing. So it was one of my games for the Humble Bundle for the month, and Rise of Industry was one of them. And I saw it, and I'm like, I want to buy it, but I'm not going to be the one that plays this. But then I saw the entire trailer, and it was just like micromanage economies and like infrastructure, and I was just like,
I've read a tutorial, and it's like you have to buy a work permit to actually build things inside the city, and then I was like, oh no, wait. Then I dropped like a water thing, and then water collectors, like you need to build a road to the water collectors. I'm like, how am I playing SimCity? What happened here? What am I doing? What's going on here?
Yeah, so I was like, if you wanted to micromanage a civilization, like even more than Civ 6, like
it's rough timing though, because you gave me that game, and then Gathering Storm dropped in price to $20, which is exactly what I want to pay for DLC. So I just downloaded Gathering Storm, and then this Itch.io $5 just ridiculous bundle dropped for us. I don't know if folks have heard, but a lot of folks are doing what they can in support of Black Lives Matters, in support of this massive nationwide movement here in the U.S. The civil rights movement. This big discussion on how best we can approach and support them, right, with our dollars, with our words, with our bodies. And this particular thing is for bail funds, which is important when you're out protesting. Folks need to get out of jail as quickly as possible. So they put together this huge bundle. This headline says 700, but the last time I checked, because I bought it, it's over 1,000 now. It's small games, indie developers, big games. There's a couple games in there that I know for a fact is $30, $5 in this thing.
So you pay $5 and you get over 1,000 games.
Over 1,000 games right now, and some of them are small little narrative books. Yeah. But Overland is $25 on Xbox. I think it's $25 on Steam as well. Night in the Woods is one of the neat games.
Celeste, man.
Celeste is on there.
I gave that one of my game of the years last year, I think.
And it's all as I'm looking. I looked through. They added Celeste Vagabond Dog. It's a fantastic game. I looked through a lot of them. I mean, I didn't recognize some of them, but a lot of them look like really cool indie concepts that I would have never ever looked at on my own, right? I would have never been introduced to.
Oh, Cat Lateral Damage, that's a good one,
dude. It's great. Just digging through. I mean, it's 1,000, and I'm like, man, if I played one a day, it would still take me 3 years to get through this content, right? So some of them, I think there's even like little PDFs or role playing games that you can play in there as well. So it's not just PC games.
What's interesting is I look at this list, and in my head, I'm getting flashbacks of seeing some of these banners at PAX over the years. Like you go through the indie development, and I'm like, oh, I remember that one. I remember Dangerous Duels. I remember that one. Like I remember some of these banners, like as I walk by, and so there they are. Here they are in the flesh, and you can own them for $5.
$5 at the bottom, right? But you can give as much as you want.
Like any bundle,
Yeah, and I think if we scroll up real quick, I think they
Juggernauts. We played that. Juggernauts is
like 5 days in, and they've made $3.5 million, dude, which is fantastic. The value here is that 300,000 people gave $5 or more to the thing. But it's awesome. If you're a gamer, go check it out. Itch.io is like very independent. 3 little letters that I love to see when it comes to downloading stuff is DRM free.
Yep.
That is huge, right? You're separate from the Steam universe and the Epic universe. I don't even know if Epic is a universe, but DRM free is a rare thing out there and it's great to go after. So, and also it's supporting a great cause, which is getting people out of jail, right? So that's who are out protesting and doing amazing things. So please go out and buy it. $5, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
even I bought it, and I'm very adverse to owning 1,000 games that I probably will never get.
You're naming some good ones. Super Hexagon, that's a great one. That's a great one. Art School, yeah, that's a great one too. Again, these are smaller developers. Many of these games you might have gotten already for free in other bundles. You might have, but the fact that throw a little money the right way and you get to own them DRM free, that's great.
And also assets. So if you're like someone who wants to dabble in game design now that you're stuck at home, you can also play around with those assets, right? Free assets are always nice.
Right.
So
that's right.
Good stuff, that Itch.io bundle. Speaking of bundle, what's the turnip price on your island? Because it's getting dire on mine. Just for the record.
Oh, you know what? I haven't fired it up today. I was going to.
Very dire. It just keeps dropping in all signs.
Anyone in chat? What's your turnip prices right now? Let's get a live transfer real quick.
I've got 2,200 turnips that are going to rot if I don't sell them quick. 132. Oh, I need more than that.
No, more than that. Anybody in the 300 range?
It's more than 70, 71. Yeah, exactly. It's okay if it's virtual bucks. That's capitalism, baby. You don't understand how fast my daughter goes through things on the island. It is intense how much island destruction she's done in the last week and a half.
What has she done? I mean, she's got terraforming, right? Obviously.
Yeah. So and she's discovered that if she goes to the ATM, she can buy different options, right? So now she can actually spread the rivers and collapse cliffs. So it's a lot of work.
You're gonna come back and it's just gonna be your welcome center with just water. You're just
she put a wall in front of my house, so when I walked out, I walked. There was no view of me. There was just that wall in front. I'm like, what? And I look at her. She's got this big smile on her face, and I'm like, oh, the next generation is just gonna be unprepared for my daughter. Completely unprepared for my daughter. She's good. Yeah, I've raised a superb troll. I don't even know if I've raised her. She's just natural. I was a really good troll.
Feral
troll days. Yeah, she's feral. She's a feral troll. These last 3 months of no school has caused her to be horrible troll. We've been playing Minecraft Dungeons together, which superb, fantastic game. And she's discovered glitches. Right. And now her fun is looking for glitches in the game and seeing how far she can push them, which I find to be fascinating. Right. She's starting to play around with the idea that the game rules can be discovered and broken and pushed to limit. So it's good fun watching her. Just I don't know if you know this, but if you walk real slow along the edges, you can start to fly, but you have to move at the right speed. The game doesn't register that you're no longer touching ground if you move slow enough. So she sort of have mastered moving real slow in certain points to see how far she can get before she drops off the map. Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's amazing.
You have to find certain spots. The home base map has one spot right at the top of a tower. You almost can get to over the farm. She's almost been over the farm on the home map. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just keep pushing those glitches to see how it breaks. That's what she keeps doing. But she gets very upset when I get a treasure she doesn't have. For the record, she's extremely jealous of my drops. Does not like RNG and extremely jealous of my drops. But if you haven't played Minecraft Dungeons, check it out. Good fun. Diablo-like game, great for kids. What are you looking for, Joe?
I'm looking for an image. I'm going to show you what I've been picking up with my kids here. So I picked this up recently from Micro Center. They had a good deal, and I wanted to build a separate kind of gaming little thing for the kids. And again, project after project, I'm just running through them
through them. Yeah,
I'm just burning through them is kind of what I'm doing. So I picked this bad boy up, which is great. So it is.
It's got the ball in the middle.
Oh, I'm going to do a full review on it. It just came out. I haven't found. There's hardly any information on it online. I was actually at the store. I saw it and saw that I was on a deal, and so I picked it up. And
you were out shopping.
Well, I met someone at the Micro Center. We had to go through the whole. So Micro Center is really weird how they're doing this. They're letting a certain amount of people in the store, kind of like Trader Joe's. But then they've got a nurse on the inside that checks your temperature.
Yeah.
They zap you, and then they've got a box of masks. So you're not allowed to go through. If you don't have one, you can't argue. They got two police officers like this standing there, and basically are like, "You won't let you in, so you got to take a mask."
Or you're wearing your own.
Or you're wearing your own. Yeah, I was wearing my own, but. Yeah, so I picked this up, and it's great. It's a tank, man. It opens up.
It looks like a beast.
It opens up, and it's got a spot for a Raspberry Pi on the inside.
Of course it does.
So I was like, What?
So does this come with games on it, or is the assumption
No.
that you're connecting it to your Atari?
Well, no, man. Like there is no. They know what you're doing. So funny you mentioned that. So
Funny that you mentioned that.
if you haven't been paying attention to what,
Yar.
right. So Atari partnered with Micro Center. And they sell this bad boy right here, and I think it's freaking hilarious that they've got.
Here we go back. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying nothing to nobody, right? That's fine by me.
So is it right? You're exactly right. So this thing right here, Micro Center selling it. It is a Micro Center branded with Atari directly. It's got 100 Atari licensed games on it, so they're fully licensed.
I like you're like this.
Well, I say that because it's 100 of Atari games, but then the controller that it comes with is like a knockoff PlayStation controller.
Yeah, I mean this looks like bootlegs all the way down. I'm just gonna say this is like 3 different bootlegs on there. I mean the plug looks like it's from my old phone. You've got the like it's nothing about this looks legit to me.
It's $100. It's $99.99. So $100. You get a 32 gig card, and you pop it in, and it's got a great setup. I watched a whole video on it. You pop it in, and it turns on, and it's like, oh, go through this process, set it up, and it downloads an update, and then it boots up into emulation station. So every time you boot it up now, you'll get like an interface where you choose what games you want to play, and it comes with 100 Atari games, which is great. But like it's meant for you to put more games on it, and obviously they didn't just package it with an Atari like joystick, like a paddle.
Sure.
Like one big paddle. You need something with more buttons to play other games. So,
I don't. So you went and bought the big giant stick.
So I bought the stick. I don't need this. I've got plenty of them.
I've got an old Atari system, right, Joe? That's what you have.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
It looks great. Of course you do. I know you do. So, I mean, there's nothing like playing Atari with the actual stick and the button that gets stuck sometimes.
It gets stuck, or the rubber is broken down enough that it just like squeaks as you go.
Do you ever pull it off and stick it to a sibling's head? That's what I used to do. My brother, he'd get the mark on his head. No, not the best way to, but you do it. You do it.
Yeah. You're right. That orange button. I'm trying to remember in my head that it sticks.
It sticks. It used to stick back in the day. That's why you kept to have to buy new ones, right, all the time. Also, because you smashed them because some of the games were a little frustrating. So.
They had the suction cups at the bottom of them.
That's right. You put it down on the table.
Put it down on the table.
Guaranteed no movement. Oh, the Atari, old stuff.
Yeah, so I've been playing that with the kiddos. We've been running through. We ran through X-Men, the arcade machine.
Oh, awesome.
Ran through that. We did that last night actually, and then while I was on my lunch break, we sat down and played Ninja Turtles.
The old one?
The arcade, yeah.
That's fantastic. That's good stuff. Yeah, we beat Streets of Rage, and then we moved on up to Lego Star Wars Clone Wars. Now, this is an interesting experience, right? I never watched the TV series, even though some people are on me all the time to watch the cartoons. But so I don't have any idea what any of these puzzles are, right? I don't have any frame of reference on what I should be doing based on the show. And I can't figure them out. I have to watch walkthrough videos to figure out what piece I need to move where. It's like really frustrating game experience because there's no clues, there's no insight, there's no information. Like you have to watch the source material to play the game. Or, I mean, we're all gamers here. I need to get good, and I don't know how.
Get good.
Get good. I just don't know how to do this. Right. So that's interesting, right? Like games used to be. I don't like playing games that way anymore. I don't like it. I find it extremely frustrating. I don't find that my daughter enjoys it. She doesn't know.
Your economy's broken, man.
Kendall, thanks for coming back with that price, man. Mine is 71, so I'm feeling that pain too. I'm feeling that pain.
Oh man.
I mean, are you still playing Animal Crossing, or have you consumed it like the locust of Nintendo players out there? Are you done?
No, I'm still playing it. I'm still playing it. Tons for sure. There is something happening on Thursday that was postponed last week because of the predicament of that particular week, and not that we should forget or that the protests aren't still happening, folks. But I do appreciate that some things were removed from the media. for at least that first week of like
Sure.
mass hysteria. And Sony is having their event on Thursday. I will go live as best as I can.
So excited! Lost the confetti.
Yeah. So I don't know if you, and I'm bringing this up not only because A, it's gaming news, and B, it's kind of a big deal. Sony announcing that they're finally going to have their event. But in today's news, and I can't find a story on it, mainly because I read a tweet on it, and I read the story, but I can't remember where. I think it was IGN. They talked about Sony has copyrighted or trademarked internal like guides on their games. So essentially you're going to be able to, and again, this is something that there's speculation, but you're going to be able to play your new game, your new PlayStation 5 game or whatever. And as you're playing it, you're going to be able to hit a button and it opens up an on-screen guide, like a walkthrough, and so you'll be able to purchase those. Obviously it's going to be a revenue maker for them in some way, but it sounds to me like you're going to be able to have like cheats or guides or sort of things that can come up and help you for perfect example like that, because I think these companies are realizing that they can get their own writers or whatever, or buy these guides and then resell them to make money through their marketplace.
That's amazing to me. How would they even? Wow.
So could you imagine like,
why do I feel like that's been done, but I can't?
Some games have done it. Like Nintendo has done it before. Like here's an example, and you might not have played it, but some of the Nintendo games, the 3DS games, like if Mario dies like 5 times in a row, you'll get like a golden block at the beginning of the level, and it'll say, "Hey, if you hit this, you're now like an invincible Mario that you can run through the level." And then when you beat the level, it'll put a little golden flag saying, "Hey, you beat it, but."
Here's the scrub block.
Go right.
Go and be jolly.
So, but it allows younger kids to like develop the movement of like playing the game versus getting good. They'll get good after they get good at controlling Mario, right? Like I feel like there are levels of getting good with certain games. One is getting good with the mechanics and remembering the button movement, and two, once you've got all that down, you can kind of pull back and up the hardness level, right? Like different.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's pretty cool. I remember, I think it was Resident Evil 4 or 5. I probably told this story before. I put it right up on hard mode because I was a hardcore player back then. So I put it up on hard mode and I kept dying to a particular boss that you have to fight in a tight space in a cage. And I died. And my wife was watching me lose over and over and over again. And eventually I reloaded and the boss was gone. And I was like, well, that's a weird glitch. And I just kept going. It turned out that the game had automatically moved me to easy mode.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like it was sort of like, it's okay, buddy. It's all right. How about you go sit over there? We're gonna, because then like later in the game, I'm like, wow, I'm finding a lot of ammunition. This game is really
right.
I've really gotten over a hill in this Resident Evil game. And yeah, exactly. That's
oh, we lost Cautious. Look at that. That's the first time I think that's happened, or maybe second time it's ever happened on the show. Look at that. Oh, there he goes. He's back.
That's hitting the back button on the mouse is something I do pretty often. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's backspace, right?
Yeah. Yep. So apologies, folks. I dropped off, but yeah, this is my. It would have been nice to have a little warning there, right? And I've cut off.
So I wanted to talk to you about this in particular, just because we're going to get a new console drop soon. This is the year of new consoles, even though 2020 has been kind of a rough year for everybody. It always knew that this was the year of next generation. And you don't tend to buy things day one.
Do you think they're going to be delayed at all? Like due to people having to work at home?
I think there'll be shortages.
Yeah. Here
so it'll drive this micro economy of like people that buy and scalp like everything. But I want to say my sister's keeping track of the times we dropped. Second time we dropped. So we've got people keeping wikis on us, man.
I'm glad we've got the fans, right? Second time drop. We might need to put up a banner, right? A little counter up there.
So you're not a Sony guy.
No, I'm not.
I mean, you were at one point, and then you moved over after the PlayStation 2.
I used to be a 2 or 3 console guy. Right now, I'm a 1 console. Well, 2 now that I own the Switch. But yeah.
So I want to just the state of gaming for us right now, knowing that by the time we talk next week, we will now have a clear name for both consoles. We know when they're going to come out, because E3 is supposed to be going on right now. Like, did you see that tweet from E3 that was posted?
Sad trombone.
Well, it was the last tweet from the account from the event, and it says like, "And E3's over. See you guys June 9th, 2020 for 2020 E3." And then it's like someone retweeted. It's like, this tweet didn't age well.
That is tough.
So I'm feeling this weird like this weird itch all over my body, knowing that there's not an E3 going on right now. So Sony is going to have their event, and you're not a Sony guy, but let's talk about if and there, what would happen, weird. What would be the announcement? What would you want your dream console to be if Sony came out and said, we're gonna do this, this, and this? What would make you go, I'm gonna get that? You're cautious.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know what Xbox could make me do to be a day one Xbox buyer, right? Like, my Xbox literally has to break for me to go and buy the new one. That's the way I run my machines down before I buy the new one. Or I have to upgrade just because the game library is no longer update, right? That's what I do to the Xbox One. So, I imagine they'd have to have an Xbox Pass that would be good enough. Or a PlayStation Pass that would be good enough to make me want to buy into their library, right? Because I don't have a PlayStation library. So I'd be getting a console with no games. I'd have no history, nothing. Their achievement model would have to work for me. I don't know. It's one of the things I really enjoy about playing Xbox games is getting those achievements. And I'd have to have enough friends on it. Like, my brother plays the Xbox. My brothers play the Xbox, right? So I always have folks on my Xbox community that I can join. I don't know that I would have that with the PlayStation, right? You're the only one I know who, like, amongst my friend group that is a PlayStation player.
Owner? Yeah. I mean,
not just owner, player. You actually play on it. Right?
Yeah. I can agree with you there.
What game would bring me back? I don't know. I don't know what game would bring me back to Final Fantasy didn't even bring me back.
Yeah. I
don't know what would bring me back. A God of War is played out for me. I don't need to play it. Last of Us, I missed the first one. I really enjoyed it, but there are enough games on the Xbox that I don't need to buy a whole console to jump in. Don't you tease. Don't you dare tease. It'd have to be good. I'd worry right away. I'd be like, wait, Sony's putting out a Dune game? That's worrisome.
Well, let's talk about that, right? So Sony has shown that it does have a pedigree on story-driven single player. I think that's what they're known for this gen. I didn't buy or play or purchase any multiplayer games on the Sony PlayStation because none of them gave me the ecosystem I wanted. For multiplayer, I would go to the Xbox. Everyone was better on Xbox multiplayer. I think Xbox Live has better voice, has better chat, has better menus, has better everything for the multiplayer aspect. Sony was the last one to turn on crossplay.
That's true.
It's the last one to allow it. Minecraft wasn't even allowed for PlayStation until just recently. I mean, it didn't get the update. So everyone, if you had it and were playing it on there, you were out of date. So then you would have, if you were still playing that game, you would have moved over to another console.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, what's the best single player experience you've had on there? Is it Last of Us?
I mean,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was great. Spider-Man, and then God of War. Those are the two big ones.
And those games are already like 2 years old, right? Like what?
Right. I mean, Horizon. Yeah. See, here we go. He's dropping them right there. Thanks. Yeah. I mean, they've got a great ecosystem for their single player. They purchased all of these studios: Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, Bloodborne, Uncharted. They're all incredible. They're all single player aspects. And I feel like Sony might be able to.
I should enjoy. I don't know why I don't have these are games that I would probably enjoy single player aspects, but I don't know. I get enough from the Xbox, I guess.
I think a lot of the multiplayer games have broken it down enough that you can play in bites.
Yep.
Like your
Division 2.
Division 2
is the one tonight.
Yeah, right. You hop on, you play a mission or two. If there's a friend or two online, you can hop on, play with them, run through a mission, and then you're done. You're like, done. But single player games are story driven, right? So if you don't play the game after maybe a week, when you fire up that console, you're like,
I don't remember this place.
Yeah, right. Where's that Gandalf? That Gandalf meme that's like, I have no recollection of this. Yes, exactly. That's it.
What, I put on, I don't even remember the game, in the Shadow of the Empire, some sort of weird puzzle game, and I put it on, and it was like deep in the game, and I'm like, I have no idea how to play this.
Right.
I don't. Yeah, it was I had to go back to the beginning, which is sad. I'm with you. I'm with you here, right? Yeah, buy up studios, bad for customers. I think it's interesting, right? Like, there's been that consolidation, and then indie rise up, and then consolidation, and then indie rise up, though, right? Like, I think that's just been a cycle in the game companies for a while now. A lot of the big ones are still around, and they've survived by buying up the indie studios that eventually get too big. I think. I don't know. I think you're right.
And then you've got someone like EA that's like the maw of studios that eats them. Takes their resources, like PopCap, for example.
Like their marrow.
Yeah, their marrow, and then throws them away. Like talk about a company that was just demolished. PopCap. You know, they had their two big ones were Peggle and Plants vs Zombies. And we are finally getting a Plants vs Zombies 3. Like they finally announced it, and it's somewhat, but they turned that into a Call of Duty style game, like a shooter game, which isn't terrible. It's a good one.
It was fun, the first one. It was like really tightly designed death matches. The matches were, I mean, I haven't had that much fun in a first-person shooter in a while. Like, it was really good. And don't forget Bejeweled, right? We're also playing Bejeweled on our phone for sure.
Right,
so,
right.
So yeah. So I don't know. I think I don't know what would get me to go over there. I don't know what would get me to buy a Sony. You're a day one buyer, obviously.
Yeah.
So what are you excited about besides owning the new console? What else gets you excited?
Right, so that always gets me excited. You know me. It's
no. I mean, besides that, besides the new shiny,
the new shiny opening up. I enjoy. I Bleeding Edge is always kind of fun for me, right? Like I enjoy the fringe moment, but at the same time, I don't know yet. The PlayStation 4 to me, and I'm not calling it a disappointment. I feel like the single player aspect of the games were great, but again, I'm someone that doesn't always have the time to sit down and invest the amount of time that is required for some of these single players. And every time I try to dump my time into one, I sit down, I play it, I dump 3-4 hours in it in one day on a Saturday or whatever, and then the week happens, my work week happens, I don't get a chance to sit down and play it again, and then by 4 or 5 days later, I want to sit down and play it. I don't know where I'm at. I've lost. I forgot what mission I'm at. I'm also one of those players that feels like they need to pick everything up or do every side quest. So the games overwhelm me.
And this is why our show is called the Mid-Geek Crisis, because we're both family folks with full-time careers and wives and kids and jobs, and we can't play the games like the way we used to, right? So perhaps the PlayStation has not adjusted like the Xbox, and God bless Nintendo. They were ahead of the curve the whole time, have figured out how to make games for families and for folks our age who are the biggest consumers of games, right? I mean,
like every single one of those single player games that they've been showing Sony are fantastic looking. They're gorgeous looking. I want to play them, but I look at them and all that happens in my head and in my chest. I feel like this like heaviness of like FOMO of like, I'm not going to get to experience that because I am not going to have the time to invest in that game. So I have cheated. I have actually gone and like just opened up YouTube and just watched a cutscene, just watched a full cutscene video because I want to play it and I want to know the story.
I'm like a week away from doing that in Red Dead Redemption 2. I just can't get the time in a row to actually learn how to play that gosh darn game. I don't know why. I mean, Division 2, it's taking me like a year and a half. This is round 2. This is attempt 2.
This is attempt 2 at playing Red Dead Redemption, a game that requires time and effort and patience to play this game. It's a time suck. It's like 90 plus hours to play the game completely.
If you're playing it the way I like to play it, which is all the achievements, all the S rankings, all that bullshit. I just don't have. I mean, every time I play, it takes me like 5 minutes to find the mission screen. Like I'm like, how do I even figure out where I'm supposed to go? I don't remember what I was doing. It's not like you
hear that, honey? I'm done.
The internet thinks I should ignore you.
The internet thinks I should ignore you. Great. Absolutely, Vagabond.
No, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
God, We didn't think about that.
I didn't think about just ignoring the family. And not to say there aren't days where I do that, right? I mean, there's definitely, but then you have to go back to building family capital and you got to get there.
That right there, deep cut, sir. Mwah.
That's good. So you can tell Rose is a friend of the show when they mention horse testicles.
Horse testicles.
And Red Dead Redemption 2 in the same sentence. So
whole engine. Dedicated.
Yeah, I mean, I got there and I enjoyed it. I got there and I enjoyed it. I just couldn't get. By the time I played again, I couldn't remember how to even get on the stupid horse. You just run up and punch it, right? That's what happens sometimes. You don't know what I'm doing. So I don't know.
Is there a Mongo moment in the game? If you punch a horse, does it like fall over? Like
I don't know. All I know is that this game interface is so awful that it's a different button to access your inventory than to access your stupid horse's inventory. And I will never forgive Rockstar for this. Never. I will write them an angry letter a day for the rest of my life, starting right now, because it's a different button to access your horse inventory than it is your main. Who would do that? What demon in the office was like, we should use a different interface for the horse? Who would do that? Why? But that's what they did. Anyway, we talked about Red Dead Redemption a year ago. Here I am.
But I mean, that's the theme of this show. The theme of this show is exactly that. It's that we don't have enough time to play these games. So Sony coming at you with the new console this Thursday. I'm going to be excited. What am I waiting for? I don't know, man. It's always like new services. I am a retro gamer more so than I am a new gamer nowadays. I think I've come to terms with that. But I still buy the new games only because they'll sit on my shelf till they become retro, and that's when I play them. And I want Sony to just give me what I want and just let me buy.
When do we kickstart the retirement home where we combine all these game libraries and all of us old gamers just all age together in a giant retirement home? When do we kick? I guess maybe socially distant retire home. I guess is what we have to put together. But some way we can all get together and enjoy that, right? Not bingo nights or magician nights or Boy Scout choir night, but video game nights.
I have seen some, just like every other, I'm sure you're familiar with the threads on the Reddit and whatever, when you go on there and people show like their game rooms and their game setups, and you see like the older couples or the older individuals where they've got like a basement set up. And I've seen a few retro ones where they've got 2 or 3 TVs on the wall, and they've got like maybe 2 Xbox set up for their like spouse or whatever, so they can do multiplayer with 2 TVs in the same room.
Wow.
And I'm like, I can imagine that with my kids. I'm like, I could do that. I could put 2, 3 TVs up in like a room at some point and like have 2 consoles and have like my kids, instead of doing split screen, be able to play like Fortnite, his account, my account.
So you would do that, right? And then imagine someone from like the mid-90s was time traveled to your room and walked in and be like, what is this, a LAN party? What's going on? Like, they would immediately recognize what you have set up. They'd be like, how has it been 30 jobs and nothing, 30 years and nothing has changed? You're all still playing on 3 TVs. I love it. Yes, Odd Job is cheating. No, it's not. It's part of the game. It's part of the game.
Part of the game.
Just like looking at other people's screens to find them in GoldenEye is part of the game. Don't tell me that's cheating, because it's not.
I don't know.
Someone yelled at me for that. I don't remember who it was.
It's part of the game. I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for the hype. The hype machine always gets me. I'm all aboard. When I get to the destination,
let's hope Sony actually puts the hype train on the tracks, because I don't really see much hype.
Well, I mean, I think the only hype, and the one thing that they've gotten, the internet apparently is just like running with it, is they've got fast hard drives, faster storage than everybody. Apparently faster than you can think. Sony has done it. You've already thought it. The game's already loaded. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it's going to work, Sony. And so I feel like people forget Sony. Sony.
Imagine how disappointed and angry everyone's going to be. I mean, they almost burned down Sony headquarters over Spider-Man puddles, right? Imagine if the hard drives are not fast.
Right. So Sony is known for selling things like Carnival style, and then when it comes out, like, do you remember, I mean, I don't know if you were an E3 person or a watcher back in the day, but when the Sony PlayStation 3 was going to come out, beforehand they had like clips of like Toy Story, and they were like, this is real-time rendering, we can do this. They were showing like a full game engine running Toy Story, like a clip of the movie, and they were like, this is being rendered in real time by the Sony PlayStation 3. I'm still waiting for my Sony PlayStation 3 to render Toy Story in real time. I'm like, where is this?
You loaded it up 10 years ago, and you're like,
they lie all the time. They lie. Their emotion engine or whatever.
It's not lying when it's marketing. It's over promising. It's not lying. It's marketing.
So Sony's doing this. So when Sony comes out here, like before, not even Sony, they shilled and gave Epic Games a ton of money to basically sit there and like have a commercial for their awesome loading, even though they went out there to show the Unreal Engine 5. Freaking what's his name from Epic Games sat there for like 15 minutes and talked about how great the Sony loading is going to be. I'm like, dude, really? Like, if that wasn't a shill, I don't know what was it. Like,
I mean, I don't. I'll admit to still being the old man who complains about load times on my games. I do. I still complain about them, but they've been a fact of life for so long now. I probably shouldn't.
Yeah. What's his name from? Linus Tech Tips. He's a channel on YouTube. He's good computers. Linus, everyone knows him if you're a YouTube guy. He did a whole talk after that Sony talk explaining why the Sony tech is great, but it isn't what you think. Like they're talking about like these speeds, but there's theoretical data can't move that fast. And he also showed that, hey, PCs can have these speed specs too. They just can't do it. Just because the highway has 20 lanes doesn't mean you allow enough traffic to actually fill up all 20 lanes to the brim.
It's fair. So you still got to get in the on ramps. And
there's all sorts of like things that happen. So Sony's like, oh, theoretically we can do like 52 gigs a second. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like you can't like
so many flops.
So many flops. So many teraflops.
Well, I mean, it's exciting to have a console, I guess. It's weird that they're still announcing it. I feel like you'd want to build a marketing campaign and momentum, and now it's not really the time.
I think it's the opposite, right? That everyone now is expecting it so much that everyone's now hyped for the final announcement. Like they finally waiting. Like Sony had all of this time to announce it between the time that E3 was canceled till now, and now this is the week of theoretical E3, and that's when they're finally announcing. I'm like, you could have like been against the curve and just been cool and announced it like Xbox did. Xbox was like, "Oh, E3's canceled. All right, here it is, guys. Why wait till E3?"
Well, they were ready, right? I guess Xbox was ready to announce that they were looking.
So Sony could have been like, "Us too," but instead they kept in that like E3 window time span of like, "Oh well, I guess we're gonna wait till the E3 week to announce stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, come on."
Conservative, old-fashioned.
Yeah, right. State of play. I mean, they didn't rip that off.
Well, what else we got?
So more games and more rage, right? Speaking of burning down a building, we had Overwatch.
Right.
So the game that is dead or dying, people have left it in droves, and mostly because of this hero pool thing. Back in January, they announced the hero pool thing. So basically what it did, it limited you if you weren't a specific rank. If you were playing ranked games, they had specific heroes that had to be used. So you couldn't like have a whole team of like shield or all attack or whatever.
I gotcha.
So if you joined or you were in a specific rank or you weren't good with that character, they didn't let you pick that. So people stopped playing the game. I was like, you're not letting me play. Now you're enforcing the way I play this game. More so.
And their reason behind it was some characters aren't being played, or is it the meta had become about running 5 shields? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think they didn't approve. They didn't like the fact that you could have 3 of specific characters or whatever. Like, it was just weird. I don't know what the mentality of it was, but they just decided to enforce it so that you had to play the game this specific way, and that lost them a ton of players. People moved on to the next big, better thing. Like everyone's jumping on the Valorant.
Yeah, I see it everywhere now. It's intense how often it's advertised to me, and I'm like, don't you know me, Google advertising algorithms? I don't play these kinds of games. Why would you insult me with this?
Yep.
But it's out there, Valorant. It's
yeah, exactly. I want to be able to play a game just for fun, so let me play the game for fun.
Which is where its popularity was, right? Like, you felt like you were an amazing player from day. Even I, who played once in my life, did a pretty decent job and didn't feel like it was like I was just giving up kills, right? I was dying all the time.
Yeah, I felt like
I had some skill in the game.
Overwatch has a pretty good curve of learning to skill, so you could play the game at a base level and still be good enough to get a few kills, or you could be, elite and wipe out a whole team, but you still felt like you were contributing. Yeah. So to throw me into a role that I might not be good at,
I mean, it forces you to play out of your comfort zone, but also it forces you, which is never very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know, man. I
mean, they eliminate the fun of it, right? Which is an interesting approach.
Overwatch is one of those games that I ran. It was one of the last PC games. I said this before. It was the last PC game I bought in physical box because I got a 20% off of it, and I bought it even though there was a code inside of it. I was super excited for it. For the first 2 years of the game's life, I was all about the Overwatch. I gave it money. I
don't you have like a Houston Outlaws hat?
We have a whole team. Yeah. Like the Houston Outlaws. I mean, I was excited for the whole Overwatch League esports thing. I felt like they were going a pretty fun route. They made it watchable, but then it just turned into the exact same thing that we've seen everyone else do. And the same amount of controversies. I'm shocked. I tell you, shocked when you give people, in their early 20s, late teens, tons of money and exposure, and they might say bad words or might do really stupid things. Like, shocked, I tell you, shocked that a 20-year-old yelled out the N-word in the middle of a match, and now he's losing his multi-million-dollar endorsement deal with Mountain Dew. Like,
I mean, all you had to do was not say it, but I guess
right. But at the same time, you're also like you hold this like amount of power of like multi-million dollars over someone's head, and they're still kids and are going to say terrible things. I said terrible things when I was a kid, and then they get completely punished.
Not me. I was a goddamn saint.
Right.
So I don't know.
You
were bad, but I was. You know what's great about me saying that? There's no receipts, baby.
I've got this J and V on my phone. Hold on, let me message them real quick. Find out the terrible stories.
Snitches, both of them.
They get stitches.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's.
Come on, man! Like, you had what's his name? Red hair. They caught him with weed and whatnot at one point. What's his name?
But he was a snowboarder, right? I mean,
right. I mean, yes. I'm not saying weed is not the same thing. The correlation's not the same, but I'm just saying, like, in the eyes of like controversy, it was enough to be like Shaun White. Thank you. I knew his name. No, right. No, I agree with you. It is not.
Dude, yeah.
It is not. I'm just saying, like, in the corporate, like, monocle, in that monocle of like being watched by endorsement deals and like adulthood and being put out there, like partying and getting drunk and like that was like the worst that people did. Obviously, gaming in general has a toxicity level of like trash talk that we all remember hearing. I'm just saying.
Right, there's the joke about the 12-year-old banging your mom. Yes.
Right.
Reason why that's a joke.
So that kind of culture grows up not very well. So when they hit 18 years old and they're given $1 million to represent a company, and you're going to say, oh, now you've got to stop saying those words when you play that game that you're really good at. But you were saying it all the time when you were growing to that skill level.
I mean, I might argue that perhaps companies should try and screen their players to get kids who don't say those words, right? I mean, like, just feel that, like, just feel it, just make it up, figure out how to get kids.
The hard drive. Thank you. I was like, that's not a real story, is it? Not fair enough. Yeah, exactly, man. Like, I forgot about the hard drive. It's a parody story, guys. It's a parody story.
But we all believed it for a second.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Because satire is no longer satire.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, this advanced warning of what's going to be announced next week. Like, it is no longer satire. It's the onion of video games.
Oh man. So on Thursday I will be live. I will go live to talk about the Sony thing. I will stream
that's exciting.
I'll stream it. If I know you'll probably be at work during that time. By all means, if maybe I'll get maybe Jordan over here, our producer, will hop online. Maybe we can stream it together, watch it together, and we can react together. I'd like to get a live one out there.
That'd be good. I mean, that's awesome. We do it all the time at the game show. So wait, I read this Vagabond, and I can't help but think to myself, what an interesting marketing campaign that would be from a gamer company to call out all their gamers in that way. Like, just be like, hey, we see you saying all these things. It's just not okay, right? Like, just be like, here's all the stuff y'all say. It's not okay. It's Pride Month. Like, come back to us. It really isn't. It would be an interesting. It'd be risky, I think, but it would be an interesting. Advertising campaign to sort of say, hey, this is not behavior we're going to tolerate in our community anymore. It would blow up in their face, but perhaps it might be worthwhile. Folks in a couple of years might give them some awards. Give them a Clio award or something. I don't know what you get awards for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's a concept.
That is yes.
I'm still laughing at that Hard Times headline because it got me good.
I was like, oh,
it got me very good. Very good.
Perfect. Yeah. So I think that's all we got this week. What do we got? Wait, one more story here. What do we got here? Oh, after 10 use the hard drive, guys. If you're not familiar with the hard drive, they're fantastic. You were right. They are the onion of satire of video game stories, and this is a good one for sure.
So they're like the Hard Times. Is that what they do?
Yeah. The Hard Times are the hard drive. Sure.
Yes, I gotcha. Yeah, do this. So let's end it on this note, right? Yeah, donate money, help people out, be decent, be great, be kind, reach out to folks. And practice social distance, right? I know we're all itching for the summer and things like that, but we should try to still.
Yes, let's not forget that in between all of this, there's still a pandemic going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget that the numbers have not dropped. And you're right, I did not talk about Bill and Ted. Thank you. Let's bring that up real quick. Last story real quick. Bill and Ted, the trailer is very. I need more from that trailer. I dig the aspect of the movie.
It looked like a fan-made trailer.
It did. I feel
hot take. It did not look like.
It didn't show me enough future.
I was like, oh, is this an SNL skit? Is this an SNL joke? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah,
about a midlife crisis where they don't actually produce anything.
So you're right. So here's what's funny. I'm digging where the narrative is going for this movie. There is an episode that I remember in my head constantly of the show called Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. It was on.
I am familiar with Harvey Birdman.
Well, you might not. It was a show on Adult Swim. Harvey Birdman. He was a Birdman. He was a superhero.
A lot of the W word.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So fantastic show. What the great part about it was they talked about Hanna-Barbera or that era of cartoons and the legal structure that they would go through, and he represented them, right? So
sure.
Great show. There's an episode with George Jetson on it.
The
Jetsons, where they're going to sue the planet or sue Earth for polluting it because their future is too polluted.
Okay.
And what's great is they show up to his office, right? And he lets him in. He's like, "Come on in," and they get to the door, and they're waiting for the walkway to move, and they can't, so they don't use their legs very often. So it takes them like a whole 2 days to get from the door to the desk, and then eventually they're all like, "Water." And then he tells them, oh, well, we come from the far future, the year 2002. Right. We have great, giant cell phone, and they pull out all these like old technology, and they're from the future. So when he says it, he goes, huh. He looks at the calendar, and it's the year 2004 when the show was made. That's what Bill and Ted reminds me of. This trailer. It's like the late 80s, early 90s when the movies came out, and we saw the year 2020 showing the future, and everyone was like utopia. But now it is the year 2020, and none of that has happened.
Well, it looks like they're playing around with that, like they never actually performed their
right. That's what's great. So the future never happened. Yeah. So I'm excited for that like weird narrative of like we saw the future, we knew what was supposed to happen, but none of that actually happened. And now we're trying to get to that future. So I'm intrigued by that. Like, here's the future, but the future of the 70s. Future, like what sci-fi imagined what the future was going to be like.
Right. No, I get it. So
it's around
second trailer. We're waiting for the second trailer.
I'm excited for it mainly because I think
I'm excited to go watch the other ones because I don't remember them well enough to even.
They're fantastic movies.
Go back and watch them.
Part 1 is better than part 2. Part 2 is still very funny and amazing. I mean, anything with the devil
and Death, right? Is it Devil and Death?
Well, yeah, the Death. Sorry, it's Death and Station, right? The alien.
I need to go back and watch it. It's gonna be fun. And Keanu Reeves just looks a little older. It's true. Keanu Reeves just looks a little older. I feel like they might have digitally made him old. Like it wasn't real.
Yeah, he's
they had to actually put makeup on Keanu Reeves to make him look 20 years older. It's kind of cracking me up.
Yeah, I think they made sure to age him just enough to because he doesn't look that bad.
He doesn't. Vampire. He doesn't.
Vampire. No.
Vampire. So yeah, be excellent to each other. That's a good way to put it.
Be excellent to one another. That's yes, exactly. Be excellent. I'm excited for the third movie. Hopefully there's a new trailer. I think that might have been one of those things that they were going to announce during when is the release date now for that movie?
I don't know, dude. I mean, how could any movie even pretend to know what their release date is based on the world today, right? Like, I don't know. So I wouldn't release a release date. You don't actually know if that's going to work with all of the backed up movies we have on our schedule anyway.
Right. Wonder Woman is pushed to, that's the next movie that I'm excited for, and it's pushed to August. So
yeah, but imagine the theaters open in August and every movie we want to watch is the same weekend, right? Like, how is this going to even work?
Yeah, no. So everything's been pushed. Hollywood has to negotiate with itself to kind of sparse out their money. Also, if you didn't read the story, California is going to be opening up its oh my God, it's due on August 21st. Wow.
Damn, is it already summer?
Yes.
I don't even know.
My temperatures show it is.
My temperatures show it is. The fact that I have to put the air conditioners in this weekend is where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So August, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. California's opening up their theaters this weekend at 25% capacity. You have to sit checkerboard from each other in the theater. It's this weird. And also, I don't know what movies are going to be playing because all the movies are already out. Everything that was supposed to come out already came out on video on demand. And anything that was big budget was pushed out to even further out, like winter or next year. So
yeah, I can't. How are these theaters even? I mean, like the infrastructure.
AMC.
I mean, I guess they're
bankruptcy. They said they can't. They're not going to be. They've lost like 7.2 billion, I think, in revenue in the 3 months that they were closed.
Yeah, they do roles. Maybe that's what it is. They're just going to try to get ahead for the award season. I don't even know, your fixed costs aren't going to change. You have the property. I mean, how would you even staff for 25% and still make money? Even if I don't know how that would work. I just don't know.
But is that a tentpole movie? I don't think is the next Christopher Nolan movie. Christopher Nolan movies tend to be kind of dark, kind of they're not popcorn summer flicks. So aiming for a mid-July release for a movie like that, is that the summer movie? I guess so. Interstellar, I guess is. But did it do summer box office money or did it do winter money?
Joe, money does not mean.
But money's what the studios are looking for right now. I'm not saying it's going to be a good movie. I good or bad, whatever. I'm talking about what's the money. The summer is all blockbusters.
Interstellar did big box buster movie. Batman, of course, did its money. I think, yeah. I think it will make some good money. And AMC lost so much money. Old business model. Let's see how they make me want to go back into movie theaters again. I can't imagine anything that's gonna make me want to go back into a movie theater before there's a vaccine. I can't imagine it. What would they offer me that would make me go back in? I don't know. I didn't go as it was. I went months after movies came out when I went to the movies for the most part. But I don't imagine Star Wars Episode 10. And that is the troll for the night, everybody. That is.
So in that movie, Mark Hamill is playing Luke, and he wakes up from a Force dream, and all of that last 3 movies didn't happen, right?
But it's still directed by J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. Oh,
Coming out December 2020 to close out the year.
It was all snow globe. That would be epic. I'd pay to watch that twice.
I missed you all last week, even with everything going on. This has been great. Thanks for watching the Mid-Geek.
Zombie. It is not just in Texas. It has been franchised all over. There's locations in New York City and Washington, D.C. There's a few in Florida now, California, Seattle, and there is definitely some in like the Chicago area. So any major metroplex.
What, do you have a map up on your wall of their locations?
I'm one of their members or higher members for sure. So yeah. Yeah,
Alamo Theater is located with 3 locations in Chicago, one off the downtown train stop.
That's right. That's right. Alamo Drafthouse is definitely one of those mottos of the movie experience that I enjoyed. Like it was
the Alamo Drafthouse experience that I had was I had my beer, I sat down, I watched the movie, I was having a great time, and like halfway through the film, I was like, why hasn't anyone else done this? What, this is such a perfect way to enjoy a film. Why is this a thing here in Texas? Why is this a thing here in Texas? So
it's because we've got the real estate to do it.
Yeah, no, we've got the real estate.
We were able to open up a movie theater and then say, let's rip out every other row. So we
also you don't care. You're like, oh, get your guns, get your beer, and get your movies all in the same spot. In New York, they're like, oh, you can't buy beer before this time, and there's all sorts of stupid like regulations and permits of beer. Down there, you want to open a movie theater and sell beer? Here you go. I'll buy your first beer. Right? It's easy to experiment with the business down there and make it happen. Which
kids drink free on Tuesdays. I don't know what you're talking about. They do screenings of Blazing Saddles and hand out 6-shooters. Like
kids drink free here. You don't even need to pretend to be like a Vincent adult man. You just go and get that free beer. That's fantastic. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been episode 80 episodes. Oh my God, 20 more episodes. We're gonna kill this before the end of the year.
Is that what we're gonna do? All right. Yeah. Exactly 20. So 100 will be. No, I'm kidding. We got a lot of weeks left in the year. It's gonna be great. Thanks for watching. Rolls, Vagabond.
We're still not halfway through 2020.
Holy shoot.
Just saying, July is the midpoint and we're not there yet. So hold on to your butts, folks. 2020 is only is not halfway there yet. We still got a second half of the ride. We love you. Take care. Awesome. Episode 80 in the can.
Yep.
Take care, everybody.
Be kind.